Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because what just leaked out of Washington, D.C. isn't just politics. It is a full-blown Marxist psyop, and this time, they got caught. Speaker Mike Johnson has blown the whistle on Chuck Schumer's so-called shutdown strategy. And what he exposed, it might be the biggest political scandal of Trump's presidency so far. This is a plot to keep the government shut down, not to help the American people, but to appease the radical Marxist wing of the Democrat Party. AOC, the activists, the chaos merchants, the same people who think burning flags equals patriotism. Oh, and get this, guys, the timing lines up perfectly with an upcoming nationwide protest called the No Kings Rally. This is a massive anti-Trump event-funded coordination, and it's now exposed as part of Chuck Schumer's shutdown for the radicals plan. This isn't about budgets. This isn't about policy. This is about control. Political theater designed to crash the economy, blame President Trump, and resurrect a movement that's already flatlined. So I want you to grab your coffee, hit the like button, subscribe, because once you hear what's inside of this leak, you're never going to look at Chuck Schumer or AOC the same way again. All right, guys. So I want to get right into it because this leak, it's not just about Washington rumors. This is proof of intent. According to internal communications confirmed by multiple congressional staffers, Chuck Schumer's office planned to extend the shutdown, not because of a budget dispute, not because of negotiations gone wrong, but because it served a political purpose. This is the second major leak in 2 weeks, and the timing couldn't be any more suspicious. So just 4 days from now, October 18th, the so-called No Kings Rally will fill National Mall. And guess what? The shutdown was allegedly timed to coincide with it. You don't need to be a genius here to see the coordination. You know what I'm saying? They wanted the cameras rolling, the government closed, the chaos brewing, all to create the illusion of a Trump-induced meltdown. This wasn't about paychecks or federal workers. This was about optics, about power, and about political sabotage. And if what Johnson is saying holds true, this isn't just about manipulation. It is malicious intent from the highest levels of Congress. Because if the leaks are accurate, then Chuck Schumer wasn't governing. He was staging. And America? We were the audience. So House Speaker Mike Johnson didn't hold back. He went on camera, visibly frustrated, saying, and I quote, "They're playing games with real people's lives. They're holding this nation hostage for politics." And he's right. Johnson exposed that Democrats are weaponizing the shutdown. They're using it as a pawn to appease the far left base, the AOC faction, the Marxist wing that's taking control of their party. For Johnson, this wasn't about party lines. This was about principle. He said, "I've had it. They're hurting real people just to protect a political protest." And you could pretty much hear the disgust in Mike Johnson's voice. He's dealing with a Senate leader who'd rather shut down the nation than risk angering radicals waving No Kings banners and burning flags. So while Trump is working around the clock to stabilize markets and to restore order, Schumer's crowd is staging street theater. So let's be honest, guys, the speaker's warning wasn't political. It was a moral alarm bell, a moment of truth where he said, enough is enough. And that right there, that is why this leak matters, because it proves that this shutdown wasn't a standoff. It was a setup. So let's talk about the so-called No Kings Rally, the event that Chuck Schumer's shutdown conveniently protects. They're branding it as a unity march, a Love America demonstration. But behind the curtain, it's the same cast of Marxist radicals, Antifa affiliates, and anti-Israel activists that we've seen hijack every major protest for years. Leaked internal planning memos, yes, those same ones that are tied to Schumer's timing, yeah, they show millions in funding were allocated for travel, staging, and digital promotion. Grassroots, please. This was political theater on a national stage. The rally is being pitched as a push for democracy. But if you read the fine print, it's laced with slogans about dismantling hierarchy and resisting authoritarianism. Translation? Another coordinated attack on Trump, just days before the next voting. So here's the kicker, guys. Organizers admit the shutdown helps their narrative. With government offices closed, their march becomes the face of the crisis. They want the headlines to read, "The people rise as Washington falls." This isn't activism. This is a psyop. This is a stage play where chaos is scripted and Schumer's fingerprints are all over the script. Retirees talk. And lately in coffee shops across the country, the same phrase just keeps on popping up. I called Chapter about my Medicare plan and it changed everything. Guys, this is why I partnered with Chapter, because when everyone's having the same conversation, it's worth listening to. So let me ask you, Do you want to be left out of the talk, or do you want to join the thousands who have already known what this is about? Now, most people, they're dialing that phone number right there at the bottom of your screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. That phone number is 909-563-8279. Now, this is where it all connects, because Chuck Schumer isn't just playing his own game. He's playing defense against his own radicals. Inside sources are saying that he's terrified of losing control to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Progressive Caucus. Now remember, AOC's wing already humiliated Nancy Pelosi before she left. Now they've set their sights on Chuck Schumer, threatening a primary challenge if he doesn't stand with the movement. So what does Chuck Schumer do? Well, he throws a bone to the far left base. He lets the government burn so that he can keep the mob happy. Reports from Fox News and Conservative Brief even say Chuck Schumer's aides are in constant communication with organizers who are tied to the rally's coordination team. Now, you really can't make this up, guys. This isn't leadership. This is hostage negotiation with your own party. And it's working for now. But here's the truth. Schumer isn't leading Democrats anymore. He's surviving them. He's balancing between moderates begging for stability and Marxists demanding destruction. And sooner or later, one of these sides is going to turn on him, okay? Now, here's where the whole thing comes full circle. Because make no mistake, this shutdown isn't just a stunt. It is a weapon. Democrats are using it as the newest excuse to attack President Donald J. Trump. They're plastering headlines across CNN and MSNBC saying Trump's shutdown hurts American families. But hang on a second here, because Trump didn't cause the shutdown. Chuck Schumer did. Yet every news cheyenne, every social media trend, every soundbite has been twisted to frame it as Trump's failure. It's the same dirty playbook that they've used with Russiagate, with the fake impeachment, and the January 6th chaos narrative. They don't have policy wins, so they manufacture outrage. They break something, then they blame Trump for the mess. Meanwhile, the president's out here signing executive orders, cutting tariffs, stabilizing energy prices, and still trying to pay federal contractors through the emergency measures. But the media, they're silent about that. This isn't about accountability. This is about optics. It's about how it looks. So it's basically 2018 all over again. Different scandal, same script. They can't beat Trump at the ballot box, so they're going to just try burying him under bad headlines that they helped to create. See what I'm saying here, guys? Now, here's the cruel irony of all of this. While Democrats claim to fight for the people, they're the same ones who are hurting the people. Federal workers are missing paychecks. Small businesses that rely on government contracts are weeks behind on invoices. Veterans can't get paperwork processed. Markets are jittery. Consumer confidence is dipping. And economists are warning that it's politically inducing paralysis, and this could cost billions. Now, all of it, every dollar, every delay is avoidable. Analysts have flat out said this shutdown serves no fiscal purpose. It's pure political sabotage dressed up as moral resistance. Yet, Chuck Schumer's team doesn't seem to even care, because chaos serves them better than calm. The more Americans feel pain, the more they can point fingers at Trump and shout, you see what happens under his leadership? But here's the truth, guys. Trump's team is keeping things afloat. They're patching holes that they didn't even punch. And Democrats, well, let's just say that they're celebrating the storm. Because for Chuck Schumer's Marxist wing, collapse isn't a failure. It's their goal. So now I want to talk about the other half of this equation, because none of Chuck Schumer's manipulation works without his favorite accomplice, the mainstream media. CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, they're not reporting this leak. They're covering for it. So instead of asking why Chuck Schumer would time a shutdown to coincide with a Marxist-led protest, they're asking Speaker Mike Johnson for his tone. They're running segments titled "Johnson Calls Peaceful Rally a Hate Event," as if the real scandal is his phrasing, not Chuck Schumer's plan. It's really called linguistic framing. Folks, redefining reality so chaos looks compassionate and truth looks extreme. They renamed the No Kings Rally a Love America movement. They call Marxist organizers activists. They twist every headline until it blames Republicans for Democrat-created pain. You see here, guys? This is propaganda by omission, strategic silence dressed as journalism. And here's the danger. When the media controls the frame, the truth becomes a rumor. They're not debating facts, they're gaslighting the nation. And Americans are finally waking up to it, because we've seen this movie before. Every time Democrats start losing ground, a crisis magically appears out of nowhere. You guys remember Russiagate in 2018? Manufactured hysteria to brand Trump a traitor? Remember the Roe v. Wade leak in 2022? A perfectly timed outrage bomb right before the midterms. And now, 2025, A shutdown that looks more like a script than a standoff. They don't fix problems, they fabricate distractions. They stage mass protests, fund grassroots marches that mysteriously trend in unison across every blue check account online. They pay for chaos and then call it democracy. This is the same pattern: emotional manipulation, public outrage, political payoff, every single time. And Americans are catching on to this pattern. The public doesn't buy it anymore. We've learned to look past the hashtags, past the talking points, past the photo ops, because every time their polls collapse, a new emergency appears. You know what I'm saying? And every time, the fingerprints lead straight back to the same people: Schumer, the radicals, the media, the machine. This isn't leadership. It is manufactured madness. Now, here's the twist that Schumer didn't see coming, because for all of the plotting, all the spin, all the chaos, this plan just backfired in spectacular fashion, and it's wild. The latest Qantas Insight poll, released October 13th, shows Republicans leading Democrats 43-42 on the national generic ballot. That might not sound huge, but just remember, these same polls are almost always skewed toward Democrats. So if they're tied or even behind, it means real trouble. Americans are seeing through the charade. They know the difference between a shutdown caused by gridlock and one that was engineered for political theater. Even independent voters are flipping, saying that this feels staged, this feels fake, it feels manipulated. And let's be honest, people are exhausted. They're tired of it. They've lived through Russiagate, COVID spin, inflation, gaslighting, border collapse, and now this Marxist shutdown stunt. Come on, guys, enough is enough. Schumer tried to control this narrative, but the narrative turned on him. And you really can't fool the same people 3 times doing the exact same thing. I mean, the playbook, it's old. The outrage is fake, and the American people have finally called their bluff. So now, as this whole thing unravels, even Democrats, they're starting to whisper. Moderates are furious, donors are panicking, staffers are leaking. They're watching Chuck Schumer's sources say Senate aides are openly questioning his future. Is Chuck still in control? One strategist reportedly asked. The answer? Not really. Because while Chuck Schumer's busy appeasing radicals and playing politics with paychecks, President Donald J. Trump is out there doing what leaders do. He's leading. He's signing relief extensions. He's keeping pay flowing to essential departments. He's proving once again that chaos belongs to the left, not to him. That's the contrast that the media can't hide anymore. Strength versus sabotage, leadership versus lunacy. Chuck Schumer's Marxist shutdown wasn't just exposed, it was obliterated. And the cover-up failed. The polls flipped, and now the man who tried to freeze America for politics is melting under his own spotlight. So as the dust settles, one truth remains. The swamp never learns, but this time America did. Now, if you made it this far in the video, hit the like button, share this video, and drop your thoughts down below. I want to hear from you. I want to read your comments, and I want to understand where you're standing. How do you feel about all of this, and where are we headed? Because this isn't just about another DC scandal. This is the moment the curtain got pulled back. Chuck Schumer's game is over, and the American people, well, we're finally awake.